I wouldn't change Blaise for anything in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I love him the way he is, and I love his personality, and, you know, it's the way God made him, and I'm glad that he is who he is, and he's happy.
I was so honored to learn Erika and Steven's story about their son Blaise, who is on the autism spectrum. They are a great example of parents who use their experience with their son to help others. I know you're going to love hearing their story. Erika noticed that Blaise acted differently from his peers when he was around 18 months old.
What the tell sign for me was when, like any mom, when you drop your kid off, I would drop him off at daycare and he would cry because he, you know, like most kids, but he wouldn't cry for me. And you see the other kids crying, "Mom, Mom," with intention. And that was a big sign for me. We would go in and notice that all the kids are playing in one area and he's over to an area by himself.
Steven said he noticed that Blaise was missing some milestones with speech.
Like my wife said, it started around 18 months. He kind of missed some of the milestones on some of the speech, and then some of the behaviors. He would get fixated on, say, an iPad or, you know, one particular thing, and then he'd stay on it.
Yeah.
And then he'd also make these really peculiar noises, like all day long.
The diagnosis of Autism Spectrum Disorder came when they took Blaise to the doctor with their concerns when he was around 2.5. Erika explains the process of getting diagnosed.
Right around 18 months, they don't want to diagnose your kid. It's too young to diagnose. Once we realized he was different, we immediately put him in individual care. And then as time progressed, he went into developmental preschool. And then we felt like at that point there should be more. So then we found another company and they did a formal diagnosis at about 2.5.
They had accepted that he was different, but Erika's biggest fear was that she did not want to get a diagnosis.
I felt like once he was labeled, then that's all the care he was going to get. He was only going to get autism care and autism teachers. And so that's the part that was difficult for me. We had already come to grips that he was different. He had autism, he was delayed, and we were okay with that.
When we got the diagnosis, I would probably say it was more of a relief, and, you know, we were happy to be able to call it so early so that we can get him early intervention.
Sure.
And as we all know, early intervention is the most important thing you can do with a child. And so from even before we got the diagnosis, you know, we were always, you know, on him about, you know, speech and playing learning games with him. And so that led him to be, you know, pretty good academically. But, you know, I just try to just leave it in God's hands and, you know, love him for who he is and what he does, and the milestones that he's been able to reach have just been amazing.
Erika mentioned that she is a helicopter mom, preventing his diagnosis from putting him in a box.
So we put him in public school, and the next week I went and got a job at the public school. The minute he does this, they put headphones on him. So I would go and I'd take the headphones off. And if I noticed that he couldn't handle it or deal with it, then I would allow him to have the headphones. But let's try it and see. Let's see if he can push through it. So he never needed headphones. If I would have allowed him that crutch, he would have been stuck in that box that this is what he needs. And for us, in our case with our son, I felt like he could push through a lot of things that he would just automatically get because he has autism. Let's just try everything. Don't just keep him in this room and just this is all he gets.
And to Erika's point, I think that once a lot of parents get this diagnosis, they can automatically put this glass ceiling on their child and say that, no, he has autism, he can't do this, so we're not going to even try. So we wanted to treat him as regular as possible, you know, give him the same experiences as regular children. If he falls short in some of his goals, that's fine. We bring him back a little bit, but we let him keep going.
Erika says that the hardest things are the unknown.
You don't know if they're going to get married. You don't know if they're going to have friends. You don't know, you know, if something happens to us, who takes care of him? How does he advocate for himself? How other kids perceive him? That's hard. We go to parks, kids run up and talk to him and play with him, and he doesn't respond like they feel like he should respond. He's getting better now. But before, you know, he wouldn't say much, and he wanted to play, just didn't know how to say it or express it. And then here I come, oh, he has autism. Oh, he's different. And I have to not do that. The hardest really has been the world and how they perceive my son, how other children perceive my son.
For Steven, the hard things are similar.
The unknown and how folks may perceive him and his social difference. Just that, and me being a father, just wanting to protect him at all times. And we know how the world can be at times. There's people that might want to bully you or take advantage of you.
Erika talks of the joys.
Just when he meets those little milestones, or he starts coming out of his shell, because for a while he wouldn't talk much, wouldn't talk to other people, never expressed himself. Yesterday he was on his hoverboard. He was in the way. And he opened the garage door, and I came in the garage, but I was like, oh, he's in the way. And I just walked in the door. He opened it. I walked in. He goes, "Didn't I open the door for you?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, say thank you, Mom." Those moments, because before he wouldn't even be aware. Right. So when he meets those milestones and those things, it's a lot of joy. We have a typical daughter. She's 6, and everything is as planned. And of course we celebrate her moments, and you get joy from celebrating those moments. But when it comes from Blaise, it's different, because he had to work 4 times harder to do something that comes naturally to someone else. So, those are the moments that just, they feel good, and just watching him grow and come into himself and have conversation with other kids and things like that. It's really good.
Steven's joys are the triumphs.
We spent so many years with him having, little to no awareness, things like that. And just for me, I remember the first time he ever walked up to me with no prompts or anything. He just said, "Daddy, I love you." And he looked me dead in the eyes, and I was like, wow. So because we had to work on eye contact. We had to work on initiating conversation. And those are like amazing, special moments. You have a special life, and you have a special child, and you'll never forget that. So just those moments of him excelling. And if you asked us where would he be doing this 5 years ago, we'd say no.
Steven believes there is a lot in store for Blaise and for other parents of kids with autism.
It's going to look bleak in the beginning, but keep working your tail off with them every day. 5 years from now, that kid will be totally different. You would never thought you would got this far. So,
well, for me, and I also worked, when I did start working at the schools, I have been working in the schools for years now because of my son. And I work with kids with Down syndrome and other disabilities. That's all they know. They were born, most of them were born this way, are this way, and that's all they know. So enjoy it with them. Like, they don't realize that something's different. This is how they feel. So you jump in there, you embrace it, and you give them everything that you can. You give them so many resources and so much love and so much support that it's too much. It's overwhelming. And they're going to strive from that. A lot of things that happen, which I realized, is that it comes from just maturity of our kids with special needs. Just the older they get, the more they mature, certain things just click. And it's nothing that's necessarily taught. It's nothing you can do. It's just, watching them grow. The best advice I can say is just love them hard. Don't feel sorry for them, because they don't feel sorry for themselves. Don't feel sorry for yourself. God blessed you and chose you to be that kid's parent for a reason. Give them everything that you can, and just know that they're going to be fine.
Don't limit them. Treat them like regular kids. They shouldn't feel that they're different. Blaise is 9 years old. We try not to make him feel like he don't know he's any different. Let them have their own personality, and just love them unconditionally, and obviously have patience. It gets better later, I promise. But it's going to take some work. Make sure that you guys are ready for this journey, and you give them the assistance and the attention they need to thrive when they get older, because it pays off.
Steven is a retired NBA player. He created a basketball academy. He started this club, and they do extend their reach to the special needs community.
Yes, we do have kids in our basketball academy with special needs. We scholarship those kids. And so we're a club. We do different things. We have club basketball, we have private training, and we do basketball camps. Anything basketball related we do, and we do extend our needs to the special needs community.
The past summer he had a basketball camp, and we had a kid that was special needs, and they needed him to go somewhere to have an outlet. And even though our basketball camp, that camp isn't centered around special needs, we created a space for him.
Yeah.
So we scholarshiped him in to do the program, and then we made adjustments. I came that day, the days that he was there, to make sure he was comfortable, make sure he's seen that he had support there. We have a sensitivity to it. So we made sure that the drills he was doing was for him, and he didn't get overwhelmed, and he was on a team that was for him. So we made those adjustments so that he could be a part of this program and not feel any different.
I was interested in learning more about the Stephen Hunter Youth Foundation. The Hunters created this foundation to help other families with kids who have autism. From providing resources and materials to hosting special events, the Stephen Hunter Youth Foundation is helping these families and kids thrive.
So after my son got diagnosed with autism when he was around 3 years old, and my wife went into the schools and started helping, we realized that a lot of the schools lacked a lot of the materials and resources to really help those kids the way they needed to be helped. So a lot of times we would come out of our own pocket to bring more materials to the classroom and to help kids learn. And so I wanted to just create a foundation to extend my reach to more kids and more parents and more families that had a kid with autism or special needs. And so what we do is we supply resources to kids with autism. We respond to requests. Those requests may be my son or daughter needs an iPad or any other learning resources, or it may just need advice on what services to get for their child. So we just wanted to be an extended family and another resource for families to go to just for help and assistance.
Something else that Stephen does with his foundation is creating a safe space for fathers. It's called Fathers United for Kids with Autism. It creates an inclusive environment for all kids with special needs, not just autism. It's a great time for child and father to bond.
One of the important things that he does is he creates a safe space for fathers. Because as we've talked about, fathers sometimes take it a little differently. It's different when I take my kid to the Target and he falls out, but when dad takes him, it hits that ego a little bit. So what Stephen wanted to do was create a safe space, so he'll have a Fathers United with Autism event once or twice a year. They can come in and we'll do bowling events. And if your kid takes off running down the bowling alley, yours not the only one, because 2 alleys down, that kid's running off, and screaming and this. And we're all there to help, and we can grab each other's kid and we can laugh and we can enjoy those moments and not feel like, oh my gosh, not again. We're all here together. And Stephen has created that environment, and the dads love it. They went and played basketball they were the boys down there, and they're playing on the real court, and they're with their dads, and they're doing skills challenge. And if one kid gives up, no one feels bad because 4 other kids gave up. But it was a safe space, and the dads can laugh together and be each other's support group. And Stephen has created that space for dads to get together with their kids. And of course, if it's a single mom at home and there is no dad, we definitely allow them to come with their child. That's never an issue. But we did want to create a space for fathers with special needs.
That's awesome.
It creates a really inclusive environment for all kids with special needs and autism. It's great. It's a great time for father and child to bond. I believe we've all gathered together. I've created friends and relationships from like-minded folks with kids with autism. So it's just a safe haven for families to come and experience great time and bonding time and create memories with their kid with special needs and autism.